Randy, Scott emailed this question to us. He says, what happens? And Chuck, you may want to jump in on this as well, but Scott's asking, what happens if you default on your mortgage for 120 days? So you don't pay it for 120 days.
Well, it depends on the lender. But in most situations in that you're going to go into foreclosure, and usually unless you pay it off, when you're in foreclosure, it goes to auction. So that's what happens if you get 120 days in most situations.
You're first put on a list pending, right, Chuck? At that
Well,
point?
there a couple carts before the horses here.
Okay.
Typically, you have a note. Note says you're going to make your monthly payment. You don't make that monthly payment, they send you a notice that says, hey, you didn't make your monthly payment. You got 30 days to make that payment. If you don't make that payment, they can declare you in default. If they declare you in default, they'll accelerate the loan, which is to say, we want all our money right now upfront,
Yep.
period,
Mhm.
which obviously you wouldn't be able to pay, because if you could, you'd have been making your monthly payment, right?
Right.
At that point, if you don't pay, they'll send it off to the attorney to start the foreclosure. My experience is that there's no hard and fast date. I've seen them go longer than 4 months.
That's right.
Typically about 4 months, and it's going to end up in the hands of an attorney. When it ends up in the hands of the attorney, he's going to run the title, do all the work there, probably take a couple, 3 weeks, and then they file the lawsuit. Now, when they file the lawsuit, they're going to file that at the courthouse, but then they're also going to take what you mentioned, a lis pendens. That's Latin for lawsuit pending. And then you take that to the county clerk's office and you record that where the deeds go. That way, you're not going to be able to sell the house or whatever without having that taken care of. It's like a footprint on your property that keeps it from going any further until it's resolved. You got to do that right at the beginning, because all the claims against the property, let's say that there's 5 liens and they include those 5 liens in the foreclosure, but they forget to file the lis pendens, other liens that come along will also attach. But if you have the lis pendens, that's when everything stops in time, and that's what we're looking at. Now, in Jefferson County, it takes 9 months to a year. If you've got the wind at your back and no problems whatsoever to get a judgment and order of sale. Because in Kentucky, technically foreclosures are forbidden. There's actually a statute that says that. A foreclosure, though, technically speaking, in legal definition, is like repossessing a car. Okay, repossessing a car is replevin. Foreclosure is doing the same thing to real estate. You can't do that. So what you do is you sue them for the dollar amount, and then you sell the asset, the house, at the courthouse steps to cover that money. Like I said, that process in Jefferson County typically takes about a year, maybe a little bit longer. But once the property's sold, well, then you're moving on.